Hi, I'm Cole Spivey. This will be a New York Times post. The title of the New York Times post is a 6 million drug claim. An ultra expensive drug, some costing millions of dollars for one patient, become more common. They're prompting a debate over whether Americans will be priced out of life savings treatments. Scientific advances have led to cures for illnesses that were once a death sentence. And with about 90% of all US prescriptions filled with cheaper generic drugs, pharmaceutical companies are looking for profits in rare disease treatments. Why it matters is some small businesses have considered ending employee health coverage after being hit with just one employee's claim for an ultra expensive treatment. Others have drastically cut coverages for drugs. And employers are considered excluding coverage for expensive treatments. The Weekly states that the latest episode of the Times TV show is about the life-changing drugs that few can afford. Okay. You can read behind the scenes and notes about the episode at the New York Times, which is available on also this is available on FX and Hulu. So I'm going to kind of speed this up a little bit because we're only about at a minute, or I'm sorry, 2 minutes. I want to show you one of the photographs that the New York Times has posted here. This photograph is Dawn Patterson of Perrysburg, Ohio, or that's who it is of. It takes a multi-million dollar drug to treat a rare bone disease that two of her children have. And the photograph was made by Maddie McGarver for the New York Times. I might post that on the site. I may not, but I will show you that it's written by Katie Thomas and Reed Abelson. Kind of see that there. Anyway, Katie Thomas and Reed Abelson is the people. The first part of it is in Perrysburg, Ohio, and Don Peterson keeps a multi-million-dollar drug in the fridge next to a bottle of root beer and a jar of salsa. So it looks like it's getting into some of these very, very expensive drugs. And the New York Times is kind of covering an estimate of like 7,000 of them. And about 30 million Americans have at least one of these very expensive drugs. I remember myself, and I'm getting out of the article here, but when I was young and a teenager, I almost died of a horrible staph infection. And it was a very, very, they thought I possibly would die. This was in high school. This was right in 1991. I was a big Smiths fan, and I was into poetry and writing and things like that. And I remember thinking, maybe this will be the last poem, I'll ever write. And, I could send it out to Morrissey or the Smiths or something. I think the Smiths had already broken up by then, but because I thought I was going to die and I couldn't breathe. My tonsils got so big and inflamed, I could not breathe. And it even scares me even today. I lived in Maine for a while, and I felt my tonsils kind of starting to, get affected from the cold weather and things like that. But my tonsils got so inflamed that I couldn't really breathe. I couldn't eat, not food. I was on a liquid diet. And they had to give me this very expensive drug to kill the staph infection. They don't know exactly what caused it. And it went on for several months, and I had to miss a lot of school. And I was trying to get through school. I actually did graduate from high school in the TCU area in 1993. I think this happened in 91 when I was first getting back into school. And in high school, I had some problems and ran into some wrong people. But I got back into high school, and this thing happened to me. I was working at a Tom Thumb, and I think I had eaten some bad meat, some bad barbecue that caused a staph infection or something. It was food poisoning related or whatever. But this drug that they gave me was very expensive. Each pill was that they gave me was very expensive. And I beat it. I lived. I survived it. There were a lot of doctors that wanted to remove my tonsils, and there were a lot of doctors that said not to, because having your tonsils is actually good, because the infection doesn't go to your lungs. Instead, it goes to your tonsils. Your tonsils are like a punch-in bag for an infection. It'll go right to the tonsils. Rather than going to the lungs, which is very deadly. So the tonsils absorb the infection. But anyway, they had to get me on several different types of medicines, and one of them was one of the most expensive medicines around. Bill Clinton was in office at the time, and Kaiser Permanente was the medical group that helped me. They were one of the best medical groups of the times of the 90s. And we are missing those types of clinics and medical groups that can help people because of the Obama era. It was such a disaster when it came to providing proper medicine. Now, we may have been providing medical care in the Obama time, but it was not proper. It was not civil medical care. So many people were not even being really seen by a doctor, or they were not being seen enough by the same doctor. And it was very scattered. And the Obamacare was very much just a complete disaster. And I think during the entire Obamacare, I never once saw a physical doctor, meaning a doctor that dealt with the physical body, or a doctor that would deal with physical health. I did see some mental doctors for free. So Obamacare, I wasn't using Obamacare. I was using a local city care under a network. But I never used Obamacare. They never picked up the phone. I tried calling them several times and tried to sign up for Obamacare several times. I just never could do it. I don't know. So I never had it. So now we're in a new age. Obamacare is over with. Obama is no longer in office as president. So he's really no longer in office, and Obamacare is gone. So it didn't work. We got rid of it. So what we need to focus on, I think, and looking at this article, is we need to focus on some types of treatment facilities or clinics that were like what Bill Clinton brought in when he was in office. Bill Clinton was actually a very good president when it came to healthcare, but yet did not make a big deal about it. He did not make a big deal about it, but healthcare was present, and we were getting good healthcare at that time. But he didn't make a big, there weren't banners flying. He just did it, The things that we do in secret are the things that God sees. And those are the things that help society. Because some people are just doing it for political reasons, and they're showing things off, and no one's getting any help but the rich. And it stays that way. So we are in need of better clinics like Kaiser Permanente. Where we can have these drugs that are not just affordable, but drugs that are effective. Drugs may cost money, but people can get a hold of these drugs to help them. But they need to see the same doctor, so the doctor can have time to work on them. And we're in a mess. We're in a mess right now, because I'm currently being treated for a disorder, but I can't see anybody because I have to wait 48 hours or 24 hours nearly just to be called upon at a facility. You have to camp out at the facility. You have to take the whole day off and you don't even really get to see the same doctor or some other doctor that doesn't even know what's going on. You know, they're like, oh, well, we can see in your file what's going on. So we're a mess. We're in a big mess right now. Healthcare is a big, big mess right now, and we need to attack healthcare. We don't need to make a big deal out of it. Okay, flying banners and politics. We just need to do something about it. So anyway, this is what this is kind of about, dealing with very expensive medication. And the article was published, I believe, today on August 25th. It was updated 12:01 p.m. about 5 hours ago. It was updated, and it might be updated again. It's actually updated today at 12:01 p.m. Eastern time. It's actually 4 hours ago in my time. And it is entitled The 6 Million Drug Claim. And I just kind of went off on my own sermon on that one, but here's the title of it. And it's the New York Times. I can kind of see that a little bit right there. Let's see if I can get into that. I can't really see. There it goes. The New York Times, yeah. Okay. And so the writer of the article is right here, which I think is, there we go. Okay. So that's my post for today. Thank you.